Good morning, and welcome to this Saturday's edition of Boomer's Banquet. And today, it's very special since we're... Umpisa pa lang, yun ang malungkot.
Parang, tapos may naka-face mask pa rin sa tabi.
Hindi ka ba magwe-welding? Bakit wala yung ano mo? Yung guard. Anyway, I'm George, Bob, and Teddy. We're here, Boomer's Banquet, special edition. Hey, live tayo ngayon. Aside from FB Live, where we can be found on YouTube. You can tell your friends if they don't want to go to FB, they can go to YouTube or LinkedIn. Just look for Boomer's Banquet. No? And we have several special guests today. Grabe, no? Walang magagawa itong mga to kundi magpatawa. Ang hindi tumawa, kuwi daw kayo. Pag hindi kayo tumawa, magkakaroon second episode to next week.
Threat? Is that a threat?
We're talking about the #1 radio station in the 80s, WKC, no? And Bob, ikaw muna. Bumati ka rin naman.
Magandang umaga. Oh, hello everybody. Depende sa oras kung nasan man kayo sa mundo. If you recall, in the 80s, merong stasyon na ayaw nyong aminin na gusto nyong pakinggan, pero pinapakinggan nyo rin anyway. Ito yung mga nagpupumilit magpatawa kahit hindi nakakatawa yung iba. Okay lang. Kasi everybody was bananas over the station starting at 1985. And we'll be talking to some of the personalities behind WKC 93.9. Ted? Ano ba yan?
Angat buhay! Magandang umaga. Welcome to DWKZ. Ano ba yung call number nila ng DWKZ?
93.9.
93.9. Okay. Tama si Bob at saka si George. Kahit ayaw aminin ng iba. Kahit hindi sila maglipat sa DWKC. Kaso sa jeep, sa kapitbahay, maririnig, malakas pa ang sounds.
Oo. Actually, that was a time nung 80s. I was teaching at Assumption, no. Alam mo mga babae doon, mga social, di ba? And I was teaching radio broadcasting, and then so sabi ko, the #1 radio station is WKC. Yak! Nagaganyan, yak! Tapos they started telling the jokes of WKC. Yak kayo nang yak eh. Alam niyo yung mga jokes. That's how popular they are. So without further ado,
yan na naman kami.
let's call the wacky DJs of WKC. Ayan, si Hill. Hill, kumusta ka na?
Okay, good.
Good.
Howdy, everyone. Howdy doody. Good to be here. Hi, George, Bob, and Teddy. Nice to join you on a Saturday. 10-10-2020.
Yeah,
Yes.
10-10-2020. Oo. Dapat maano sa loto mamaya yun. Para
Natataya ba sa loto yung pare-pareho?
dalawang ticket.
Ay, meron na akong anecdote kay Hillbilly Willy. Willy, sumali ako nung sa Spin a Win. Ikaw yata yung doon, voice over.
Voice-over, live voice-over siya doon.
Yes.
Oo.
Yes.
Kaso minalas ako eh. Puro bankrupt.
Okay.
Ano yan? Yung panahon pa ni Ronald Remy?
Hindi, John Young. Ikaw naman. John Young.
Ronald Remy.
Sa RPN 9. Yun yung #1 game show.
Oh,
yes,
diba?
Yes.
Ayun. Okay, sino susunod na natin? Kabwisitan. Ayun. Si Super. Papaganda ako ng boses this is Super Mitch.
Teka muna, nag-aalmusal pa yan. Mitch, hindi kita madinig, nakamute ka.
Nakamute ka.
Kasi
Sa mo to, no?
Good morning.
Voice over, hindi marunong mag-unmute ng microphone. Mario Joseph.
Kasi soft na ngayon, di ba you have to click on the screen? Hassle. What we do is, di ba old school, switch. Di ba on the pinaka-left side.
Toggle switch.
Di ba sa atin nun, so switch on the left side, mic 1. B for on air and A for audition. Ngayon, you have to click and then you have to look at it. Hey, good morning. Hello, everybody. Glad to know you're all tuned in.
Gaya ng sabi ko nga, no, if you don't laugh at their jokes, we're gonna have an episode 2, whether you like it or not.
Kaya parang awa nyo. Huwag kayong tumawa.
Yun. Eto na.
Yun.
Okay, ano ha? Sino to? Mr. Rivera. Rudolph Rivera. The Smilebration.
Pero nawala ako. Kakanta
Ha?
bigla mag-go off, I had to start all over again, go back to Safari, paste.
Oo.
So, kanina puro you're backstage, only the host can see you.
Some people can do that
Rudy.
in 2 seconds.
Rudy,
Where's Bobby Ante?
Are
Rudolph,
you
it's not
bragging
us,
or
it's you.
complaining? Oo eh.
Akala
Are
ko
you-
si Bobby.
Rudy,
Are we on
Say-
already?
say hello first to everyone. People are
everybody.
watching you. Yun.
We're live already?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we going to get paid for this?
Langya ito, payola ka. Tawagan mo
Old
si James.
school ka talaga.
For the love of
Talent fee ba to?
for friends and the love of.
Hi guys,
Ayun,
hi
no?
everybody.
Tapos yung isa, ayaw magpakita ng mukha eh. Bob, okay ka lang?
Still
Si
in the
Bobby
bathroom.
Ante.
Okay lang ako. Okay.
Bobby.
Ba't nakamute yung
Okay
camera mo?
Okay ako.
Si Batman is still in the bathroom.
Hindi nakamute. Yung telepono ko walang camera yata eh. Low tech.
Sa Save-A-Lot mo binili yan.
Analog ba yun, Bob?
Oh,
Si Balat.
Save-A-Lot to. X-Deal yung Save-A-Lot kay RJ.
Baka Uniwide pa yan. Uniwide warehouse.
Uniwide. Oh, Uniwide. Kapalit ng tela.
Say good morning, Bobby.
How can they watch on
Good
Facebook?
morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning
Oo.
sa inyo. Good morning.
Alam mo ang pinakamaganda
Morning,
niyan?
everybody.
Bob Novales, lagyan mo ng picture si Bobby, yung picture ni Mike Enriquez para ano.
If Mike is tuned in, hello, good morning,
Wag.
Mike.
Wag, baka may insulto si Mike. Kayo naman, no? Baka may insulto si Mike.
Actually, speaking of Mike Enriquez, he's one of the, kumbaga ano, in the words of my dad, kapural. Kapural siya ng KC, no? Siya yung isa sa mga nagpasimuno doon kasama itong mga siraulo nandito ngayon. Kaya naging WKC. We'll try to recall what happened, ganyan, ang storya, at bakit wala silang ginawa kundi magpatawa na lang sa ere instead of coming up with music, no? So marami pang ano. Ano yun? Ano
May
yun?
music na naman nun ah.
Ang naalala ko lang si Happy Louie ba yon?
Si Cholo.
O si Cholo. Walang ginawa yun kung paano hindi ba yung ano inaalala ka ni Ray Valera? Ano yata 5 taon yata tinutugtog ng ano yan, ano mga DJs na yan, no? Pagmula BL hanggang KC, si Cholo board na yata, sinasabayan na sa ano, kinakantahan na rin. Sinasabayan si Ray Valera.
Diyan, ang laki ng bayad sa kanya. Umabot hanggang KC.
Akala ko pa naman may hugot lang.
may advance pa lang. Ganon. Nasaan na si General? Wala si General.
Si Andy.
Nasa farm siguro.
Nasa farm.
Sa Artana? Oo, nasa Artana.
So,
Nakapunta na kayo sa farm niya.
Nangangabayo.
Okay. Safe yun. Okay, since pinaka-pioneer dito would be Bobby and Willy sa grupong to. Si Rudolph, mas pioneer pa.
Actually, yung mga...
Since pinaka-pioneer dito would be
Ano yun?
Parang may delay, may pumapasok na monitor.
Parang malayo siya eh. Yeah, he's got
ano yun?
Subukan mo mag-headset,
May karpintero.
Sa inyo ba yan?
Sa amin yata. Teka, sabihan ko.
Actually,
yung ano?
actually,
pinupukpok swimming pool nila.
Kung pioneers ang hinahanap nyo for WKC, those of us who migrated from BL to to
Casey.
Casey.
Willy, Casey.
Yeah, to Casey, where Bob,
Rudolph.
Butch, Rudolph, me, and Reggie.
Cholo.
And Cholo.
Yeah.
Kami anim. Sabay-sabay kami lahat lumipat sa Casey naman at that time.
Ano ba nangyari? If you can tell us the story, what prompted your move to matagal na yun eh. That's 40 years ago. So pwede na siguro makapagkwentuhan tungkol dun eh. What
Actually,
unless nanggagalaiti pa yung mga dating amo nyo.
personally, I was with FBS, with the Veras for 10 years sa BL at saka sa Double L. They were both number 1 on AM and number 1 on FM. And we begged the owners to purchase another FM station so that we can migrate, because at the time there was a shift from AM to FM. So we waited for a while. They never did anything until we had an attractive offer that we couldn't refuse. We all migrated to FM to RMN na, yung RMN. And then after we moved, that's when they purchased another station. It became WTM, and then they bought several more. But that's all past. So kami nag-umpisa ng KC. It was us also who thought of the name, di ba? KC.
Saan
Bakit
galing
KC?
Kay Kanoy.
Wala.
Kay Kanoy?
Yung Casey.
Ang uno kong...
Hindi.
I thought
Casey.
ano eh. Sige ba?
Ayun, kay Kanoy ang stasyon, di ba? KC.
Ano lang yun? Wala. It just sounded better.
Yeah.
Alam mo, wala kaming kaplano-plano sa gagawin namin. Basta board lang tayo. Walang plano to.
Ang nasa isip ko nun, Bob, wow, pumapasok yung balik.
Ano yun?
12-second delay.
Sinishare ko sana eh. Sinishare ko eh.
Kaya pala, ikaw na naman pala kawatan eh. ang notion ko nun, nakala ko nun kasi baby pa yung Casey na anak ni Sharon Cuneta. So akala ko related dun yun.
Seryoso?
Wala.
Yeah, I thought all the while na kaya ganun. Dahil syempre Sharon, masang-masa, diba? So si Casey Concepcion was the thing.
Hindi pa
Ayun
siya
na, si
pinapanganak yata.
General.
Uy, si General. Bakit ganyan yung itsura ng General? Ba't hindi naka-uniforme yan?
Nasa barracks pa. Ano pa? Naka-KC yun.
Uy,
po.
bagong laba yung t-shirt mo ah.
20 years ago.
General, naririnig ba kami? General. WKC, GCS.
Uy, galing ah.
Okay yan ah.
Kasya pa kanya, di ba?
Mas maganda, can you quit doing silent movies and say hello to us?
Can you hear us, Drew? Andy?
Salita ka, Andy.
Isa pang voice-over announcer yan na hindi marunong gumamit ng microphone.
Mariosip talaga. Anak ng pating, oh.
Si Rudy wala na naman.
Si Rudolph in and out.
Baka may chicks.
May chicks.
Si Bobby naman naka-mute.
There's
Ayun.
Rudy.
Ayan. Si Rudy, pasensya na kayo, si Rudy every 10 minutes i-reset yung telepono para.
Si Bobby naman, naghahanap ng telepono na hindi analog.
Can you hear me?
Diyos ko! Okay.
Andy?
Wala na.
Overmod.
Overmod ka. Gumamit ka ng processor. Wala ka ba si RL dyan? O Optimod?
Para ka lang nagbo-voice tape galing Saudi eh.
Say good morning, Andy.
Good morning, George. Good morning, Teddy. Good morning, Bob.
Morning.
And the Jokers.
Howdy, Andy. Good to see you again.
Hey.
So where are you broadcasting from? Home or Zambales?
I'm in Quezon City right now.
Oh, okay.
Made sure that we were home for this one.
Very nice, very nice, no? Welcome to the show. And kagaya nga na sinabi ko sa audience natin, if they don't laugh at your jokes, they will have an episode 2 next week.
Oh no.
Anyway, before heading on, no, let's just say hello to some people. Ang dami na nag-ano, no? LB Sanchez is in Maryland. She's tuned in right now sa Maryland. John Yungting, I guess you know. Tapos Alex Cow, Catherine Amore, June Almeda, and then Tita Len in Florida with Gina, Becha Sakiguchi,
and si Andy bumati sa atin.
Amore, si Andy Pasqua bumati. Sino yun? Marga is watching right na. Jack Friday, Kyle Velasquez in Los Angeles, James Puiti, and then who else? Martini Ventura. Kanino radyo yun?
Grinder.
Dentista yun. Dentista yun.
Kanina back home. Ngayon. Tapos Matty Fernando. Regular. Uy, okay to Rachel Ford.
Hoy, ito si Becha from Japan ito. Boses announcer talaga.
Oh, yun. And Gigi Gabriel Imay Pascual is also tuned in. Regular listeners on radio, now they are here with us. I miss Rudolph Rivera. Yan, Catherine Amore. Rudolph Rivera is nowhere to be found again.
Who's the seahorse watching?
Watching ko. Kala ko ba sasali ka, Mr. Seahorse? Join us. No? Ayun. From Orlando, Florida, Jack Friday. Was in RM. So, Cagayan de Oro. All right. No? CDO. Hometown of the Canoys, of course. Teka, let's go back to these guys here. Teka, not
si Mol, hindi. Kasama namin yun doon sa kabila.
Mamaya niya, hanapin si Trigger. Teka, Mitch, ikaw naman, how did you get involved with these guys here?
Well, you know, I was when I started in at least in PhilComCen. Nandun ako sa kabilang stasyon sa 15th floor. PhilComCen, di ba? That's where most of the
So what's WSM?
I was at WSM. So 15th floor rin yun, pero paglabas mo ng elevator, turn right. Di ba? Sila yung turn left. And then Casey had 75% of the floor at that time. I was just lucky enough that at some point, was that 90 na yun, di ba? 89 natin, 88, 89, that they were in the market, they're looking for an additional guy, an additional jack at Casey. So buti na lang nakasabay ko sa elevator si Bob at saka si Jan. And that's where everything fell into place. So it's the elevator, man. It's the elevator.
Yeah, and of course, you saw that the guys in Casey were much happier. They were always smiling as soon as they got out of the elevator, right?
Oh yeah, even before I joined the team, we were really hats off to those guys. I was training when I trained. My very first radio station was RT, and then I was trainee pa lang noon. As a trainee, we'd really look up to the guys at KC. Remember, George, Bob, Terry, in those days, everything was analog, di ba? Everything was, there was no way that you could synchronize digital sound bites digitally kasi wala pa yung technology. And then you listen to these guys on the air. I was in school when I first listened to these guys, di ba? I actually didn't like them because I couldn't study. I was a senior, 86. I was a senior in high school. And then
Walang hiya ka, Mitch. Ngayon mo lang sinabi yan. Sana hindi ka na namin kinuha.
Alam mo kasi nakakainis, di ba? Mag-aaral ka. Tapos sasabihin nung kaibigan, pare, pakinggan mo itong mga to. And then all of these jokes would come in, hindi ka tuloy makapag-aral dahil sa talagang, di ba, mayat-maya yung joke dadating, mayat-maya. It was such a fun place to be. Di ba? Especially in the 80s, it was such a fun place to be. Hindi ka na makakonsentrate sa pag-aaral mo, di ba? Nakikinig ka na lang sa jokes. And then you'd say, hit me one more, give me another joke, Parang ganyan. So it was really looking up to these guys talaga from the very beginning. Kasi even the way that they do the program, Willie and Bob, for example, and Happy Louie when they go on air, hindi lang sila solo, sila yung may character pa sila, di ba? May second or may third talent in the booth. And then when they do their spiel or their dams or whatever they talk about in the morning, pag bitaw nung call sign, I can imagine the amount of skill, the amount of talent, the amount of professionalism that these guys had even before digital, di ba? So it's truly impressive. So when they said, why don't you try to do, sige, kaya ko kaya. It was really a scary thing. And this is the funniest thing. I remember asking my best friend because when I got so lucky, I got invited. I hope I make the cut. I hope I make the grade. And one of the very first things I had to learn was how to laugh on cue. Mm-hmm. Kasi di ba, the rest of these guys, when they started laughing, it was so infectious, di ba?
Yeah. Pero si Willy, grabe, tumawa eh. Di ba?
Grabe. And liban pa yan sa sound effects, di ba? And all of that. So my best friend and I had a little game when I started off at KC. I said, whenever we're together, anytime and every time that you snap your fingers, I have to laugh. And when I do laugh, it has to sound authentic. It has to sound natural. It's one of those things that you have to learn to be part of the crazy gang, diba? So talagang imagine yung amount of respect, and then finally, kumbaga, ideal nga. Sabi, what some people used to ask, what did you want to be when I was younger? What do you want to be when you grow up? I said, no, I want to be a DJ. I want to fly an airplane. But I can't fly an airplane because I'm colorblind, so DJ na lang tayo.
Ted, si Godzilla nandiyan pa?
Kanina may nagbabako.
Nagbabagsak ng
Ayun, nagbabarilan na yata dyan sa labas.
Si Godzilla nandiyan, si King Kong.
Kapit bahay na yata namin.
George.
Yes.
George, alam mo, maraming nahihiya, maraming ayaw aminin, gusto nila yung KC. Time na yun. Pero gustong-gusto nila yung KC deep inside.
Actually, yung kinikwento ko nga kanina when we opened the show, I was teaching an assumption that time No? I was teaching an assumption, broadcasting. And I told my students, paano tinanong nila George was the #1 radio station. Di sabi ko, WKC. I was with Kiss FM na doon. From LS, I went to Kiss. Tapos sabi lang, yak! Nagganyan na, yak! Tapos they started cracking the jokes of KC. No? They all knew the jokes of KC. Although, sinasabi nila, yak, KC. In other words, sila din pala nakikinig. And they had to admit it. That's how powerful KC was.
Tell them, George, the feeling is mutual. Kami rin it was a job.
Kami rin. George, subliminal kasi yung dating namin eh.
Subliminal.
Walang ganyanan.
Iba yung subliminal subcutaneous.
Subcutaneous. parang kuko yun.
Pero aminin natin, binago nyo yung landscape ng Philippine radio, ang WKC.
Yes, Teddy. This is how it evolved.
Yan ang maganda. Kwento.
Bagong-bago kami noon. Kaming anim, lumipat kami sa KC. We didn't know. In fact, our very first slogan was smile. Smile Radio. And then the whole network of RMN stations, FM stations, became Smile Radio Dagupan, Smile Radio Baguio, Smile Radio Davao, ganon. It was so, and then finally it evolved into, kasi lahat naman kami nagpapatawa, lahat naman kami corny. So, true, we had to develop a laughter of our own, pero there are so many comedians naman who never laugh, even while they crack their spills. And then, that's why we had canned laughter. Nataon na maganda yung canned laughter namin yun. Yung sa Just for Laughs, yung si St. Nick, yung bedside nung Jingle Bells. And then we finally evolved into laughing at our own jokes, and we made it a something that's not bad taste in the mouth. Kasi pangit if you laugh at your own jokes, di ba? So maganda na rin, napapatawa na rin sila at the jokes that we crack. Pero that's how it evolved. And then we had music. We played everything. Actually, there were a lot of stations who played the music we were playing, who were saying the things we were saying. But the only thing that set us apart was the music, was the jokes and the laughter. In fact, when we gave it up, when we transitioned from joking, nag-level up kami, it was the time when the other stations picked up the joke. Nandiyan nandiyan yung love, pati nandiyan yung energy, who still do jokes up to now. Because that was the time when Casey gave it up. But nobody dared give it up at that time. Nobody dared copy it at that time. Because ayaw nila to be categorized as a joke station or like Casey. It was something that to them was anathema. Tama si George. It was somebody that's but everybody listens to it.
Yes. Precisely.
Alam mo, George?
Yes, Bob.
Actually, the jokes, hindi naman original yan eh. Some stations were doing it already. But not on a 24-hour basis.
Yes.
We started to do it on a 24-hour basis.
Sa BL ginagawa na rin namin yun.
Yun na nga eh.
In fact, the day before we went on board KC, nag-usap-usap kami. Sabi namin, ano bang gagawin natin bukas? Ibang stasyon ito. Sabi namin nila Willy, brainstorm kami. I remember we were brainstorming in a pub. Willy, naalala mo yun? Wala ka pang senior moments, di ba? Naalala mo yun?
Hindi ko naalala.
And sabi na, anong gagawin natin? Sabi namin, wala, just be ourselves. Kailangan maingay. Kasi yung FM noon, hindi maingay.
Seryoso eh.
Ang elevator music, karamihan noon eh. DWFM, ni Susette Arboleda, DWLL Mellow Touch, boses lang at saka music.
The number one station at the time was RX.
Kanino CR yun?
May
Kailangan ng pasipsip.
Grabe. Kaya malabanan nga tayo na.
May nagugutom lang sa atin.
Teka, bago mag-reset ulit si Rudy ng telepono, tanungin na natin siya. Baka mamatay na naman yung telepono niya. Rudy.
Wala nga eh, naka-freeze.
Nag-screen grab.
Naka-photo me nga, naka-photo me.
Photo me. Wala na naman si Rudy.
Bob submitted a photo of us, kaming lima yata noon. That was the launch of
Bobby, gawin mo ng Bobby. Sabihin mo ng Bobby, huwag Bob.
Bobby. Okay.
Si Bob.
Si Bob kasi bug eh.
So yung black and white na photo, yun yung unang-unang pictures niya. That was the first picture.
That was the launch at Metro Club on May 15.
Sa photo mo rin kayo nagpakuha, Willy?
Parang
Reminis nga ni Rudolph.
And I remember our launch then was we were all rapping. We introduced ourselves and rapping. And I wrote all of the raps for the DJ.
Si Willy nagpasimuna ng rap.
Yeah, totoo yan.
Tapos sumunod na lang ni SM at saka Rustans.
Sa photo meron kayo nagpakuha.
Special occasion. Pare, I'll give you one bit of trivia. Everybody knows that Francis M was the first artist who made a rap record. That was in 1990.
Yeah.
But in 1981, I came out with a record. Nasa DL pa kami.
Rapper's Delight.
Rapper's Delight. Kasi kasikat ng Rapper's Delight. And I can even play a short snippet from that song. But I'd like to show you a what do you call this? A picture of that record that I had. Yeah.
Nilinis pa ni Willy yan. Ang daming cobwebs niyan.
Yung alikabok ang taas, no?
Kasi pangit, pakinggan, pero naibenta yan sa I don't know how to share it. Screen sharing? Share screen?
Paano yan, Bob? Sharing screen?
Hindi. Dapat ako mag-share, pero you can show it kung ano man. Hawak mo ba, Willy, right now? Is it with you?
Nasa how do you call this? A JPEG. But I don't know if it's well. No, never mind. Anyway, here's another bit of trivia. Teddy mentioned kanina sumali siya sa Spin a Win, di ba? Teddy, hindi mo inabot yung portion ng Coke Radio.
Ayun,
hindi ko matandaan ngayon.
Coca-Cola Radio. Si Jody Mango na doon eh.
Yes.
This is it yata yun, Willy, di ba? Yung show.
What?
I think This is it yung show. Was it This is it?
No. Iba pa yun.
Spin a Win pa rin yun.
Spin a Win pa yun. It was a segment. Coca-Cola bought a segment on Spin a Win, and it was a rapping contest. I was the first one who did rapping on radio. In fact, WKC was the first station that did rapping because Rudolph and Hillbilly Willy also did rapping on radio at that time. Anyway, when we transferred to KC, to Bilcomsen, Joe the Mango was one of our engineers, and Ray Mambo. To make a long story short, because I was talking to them on the phone, they make requests every day. Because why don't you join my portion sa Spin a Win? I will write all of your raps, and then all you have to do is recite it on camera. And then, syempre, mga prizes. Sige. I even gave Roland the name, Rollicking Roland.
Yeah.
Until he won. After 13 weeks, siya naging grand champion. Of course, he got all the prizes. I recommended him to Bernie of TM kasi walang opening sa that estudyante pa siya noon sa AMA. And then ginawa na niya yung Mango Bango. Kasi he wasn't sure like that. Well, anyway, the runner-up, si Ray Consolacion, I was able to get into KC, who became the Count Animal and Ray Mambo and Ray Holiday now.
See, actually, I was a judge dun sa contest na yun eh.
Yes.
And one of the prizes supposedly was for the winner to get into Kiss FM. But I didn't have an opening that time. Yeah, so ayun. Ang nangyari, sa TM na siya napunta.
Actually, dapat gusto ko siya for KC, but we didn't have an opening at the time.
But Joe's very talented. Nasa Australia na ngayon, no?
Yeah, he's a pastor, I guess.
He's a pastor, right? He's a pastor. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of where, ano nangyari ka, no? Nagre-reset rin si General.
I'm here.
Ayun.
I'm here.
General.
Yes, sir.
Nagpakuha sa photo me.
General, what about you? You came from LS.
Yes.
Saan yung ingay?
General yata.
Wala ako. Facebook yung mga tumutunog eh. Here, Facebook.
Bumabalik eh. Are you using a speaker or headphones? Earphones?
Speaker from computer phones. Computer speakers.
why don't you use earphone? Paano bumabalik yung ano eh.
Okay, I turned off the Facebook already. So wala na. Okay.
Okay. You came from LS, right?
Yes.
So how did you get into KC?
Yeah, I started with LS. I trained under Jimmy Jam. So sabay kami pumasok ng LS. Tapos sabi niya sa akin, during the 9-month training na walang bayad, walang bayad.
Ganun talaga naman.
Emphasis.
Sorry, nag-board yung walang bayad eh.
That never happened at KC.
Sabi niya sa akin, and then before the 9-month training was up, si Fred James sabi, we won't hire you. So, that's the biggest joke. So sabi ni Jimmy Jam, go for KC. Sabi mo, bakit KC? Basta, go for KC. So,
Ayaw mo rin. Ayaw mo rin kasi kinakahiya mo rin.
Papi, oh.
Tapos he said one word. Money. Okay, sige. I mean, so before I got into KC, dumaan muna ako ng 2 weeks sa RK, sa W Rock, where I met Brian, si Bombay, Brian Bugnani.
Si Brian Panty.
At that time.
Brian Panty.
He was training me for 2 weeks, and then he said he's leaving RK to go to KC. Sabi ko na gagawin, magbebenta ka ng payong. Then, mag-board daw siya. Ayun, so...
hindi na politically correct yung ganyan joke.
Yung araw, okay lang yan eh.
Sorry. 90s eh.
Pag hindi ka magpakabait, huliin ka ng Bombay.
So anyway, so si Brian ang connection ko. And then he said, may audition. So, gawa ka ng demo tape based on KC. So, first time kong makinig ulit sa KC after after it started, I started listening in 85 eh. Tapos, mga 90s, hindi na. So, 91 again, I started listening. Gumawa akong demo tape. Ayun. So, after that, sinabi lang sa akin ni Brian, oh, come here. They want to interview you. They want to talk to you. So, yung buhok ko hanggang dito, mahaba pa. Ayun, tapos sabi ni Brian, they want to hire you but you have to cut your hair. Hanggang talaga?
Si Mike may gusto nun.
Okay. Ano ko joke lang eh.
Good time yun, good time.
Good time. And then,
Andy.
Ay, Bob. Yes, Bobby.
Magkano porsyento ni Brian sa sweldo mo?
Wala, pero kung ano yung binibenta niyang gamit, binibili ko na lang para binili ko yung studio niya, binili ko yung ano ba yung crackpot, ano man? Basta binibenta siyang pot. Crackpot. Yan.
Pagdating sa iyo crackpot pala, no? Si Ante.
Kumot ni kabinenta. Kumot ni.
Nawala si Jen.
Nawala si Ante.
Nawala si Jen. Baka blinak ni Brian.
Ano yan for tasteless humor?
Rudy, pwede ba kumilos ka naman ng konti?
Kaway, Rudy.
Kanina ka patahimik eh. Yan, kaway.
Okay, so
Andy, kinaha mo yung mic.
Hindi yung...
Si Rudy na mic.
Okay, so ayun.
Si Rudy parang fashion model na.
Nakikinig na ako sa kanila eh. So I knew Rudolph, Rivera, Hillbilly Willy, everyone. Yun, so when I started working with them, parang it's like I already knew them. Yun. But they were not very old, not much older than me. So Parang pili ko sobrang tandaan.
Hindi totoo, okay matanda talaga sila sa'yo.
So how many months training were you given without pay?
Sa LS
yun
9 months. Sa KC, sa KC, as soon as I got on board, and they knew I was in it, they knew they wanted to get me kasi I remember playing a 7-minute Ted Ito song tapos pinutol ko after 3 minutes. Tapos sabi ni Mitch, "Oy, marunong na."
Ano sabi mo?
Marunong na daw ako magputol ng song. So, anyway, yun.
George, balikan lang natin ng konti. Pagka-launch ba ng KC, di ba? How many months lang?
I remember playing
may bumabalik eh.
How many months lang?
Ayun. How many months?
Delay.
Ted.
Tuloy mo, Ted.
Pagka-launch ng KC, how many months? Di ba nag-click kagad eh?
Yes,
Kasi nga kakaiba. Tapos yung binabanggit ko kanina, kahit sa jeep, ang lakas pa ng volume. Kaya kahit kabilang jeep siguro madidinig eh.
William, what would be the biggest joke sa KC?
6 months, ganon. Mga
6 months. No, 6 months. I remember 6 months pa lang you became number 1 eh. To the consternation of WLL. No, they never thought that they'd be overtaken by a pop station. Paano, di ba dati pag easy listening ka, sigurado number 1 ka eh. Even Love Radio dati, di ba, was on top because of easy listening eh.
Yes.
In spite of
the rationale for Double L was it was unique in the sense na at the time marami maingay na radyo.
Yeah.
Station, nandun yung RT, nandun lahat. And then Butch Gonzalez came up with it was very economical to run, parang DJ. But time check lang, all recorded. So until it rated, it became number 1, and it was a number 1 station for a long time. That's why it was so hard for the Beras to change format in just
to reformat
as guys. And it was never we never suggested it be reformatted. We said that because there were some FM stations that had multiple ownerships. They owned several stations. I mean, why not do it so that we can transition from AM to FM? Anyway. But we were making kasi when we launched, I think we were the only station that launched to a full complement of advertisers. RMM, the Canoys, rented the Metro Club ballroom and invited all of the recording companies and advertising agencies to present ourselves, and we did a program there. It was a rapping program. I would introduce all of the DJs, and the DJs would rap, and then meet and greet, yung ganon. So in that sense, nagkaroon na siya ng awareness, increased awareness right away. So pumasok ang
Willy
at that time. Yeah.
Willy.
Yep.
If I may add, I think it was Hil Chua who was very instrumental in helping us get to be he was with Ama then, and DDB chairman na siya, but he was instrumental in giving us a big boost sa advertising industry.
Yeah. Well, Ama was handling Nestle that time, diba? So
you can just imagine. So swak na kaagad. But honestly, yung first survey after 6 months, we didn't become number 1 kaagad. Since hindi naman namin natatarget yung CDE. Most of our listeners were students but we already made the mark. I think we were number 6 in the first survey. Pero imagine ilang months pa lang pumalo na kami sa top 10
out of nowhere.
So siyempre ang next move was to go for number 1.
And what was Mike's role here? Mike Enriquez.
Mike
was our station manager. He came in after a couple of months.
Oh, so in other words, Mike stayed on with BL.
No.
Mike was out. Mike was out of radio. He was not in radio then. I think he was in another industry. He left the radio industry and worked. He worked for his friend
George Lim.
Yeah,
Then,
for UE Auto Supply.
And then when we transferred, to RMN, Kanoy got him also a VP for FM. And Bob, you were the station manager at the time.
Si Bobby?
Yes, Bobby was the station manager. Mike was the VP for FM.
Oh,
that was after Mike. After Mike.
Yes, but Mike came in maybe about 6 months after we established the station, right?
You know, I was first time I saw your. No, first time I saw your radio station, sabi ko siya, state of the art, hindi ba? Yung facing the audience eh. Hindi dati. Paano dati kasi face the wall eh. Ang mga DJ eh, di ba? And then all of a sudden kayo, it was so spacious, may sofa pa and everything. So I was really very impressed with the
It was a huge booth that made listeners most welcome.
Precisely, no.
In fact, they would hang around. They would hang around. A lot of them would hang around the whole day.
Grabe, no?
And it was the concept was the DJ was a performer in front of an audience who is inside the booth. Parang
galing eh.
And it became the blueprint for some other FM stations that followed.
You know, this is so funny, no? Yung sinasabi, pardon the expression, KC, bakya yan, baduy yan, ganyan, no? But for those who are tuned in right now who never got to listen to KC before, the trick there was, bakit nila nakuha pati A, B, upper C? It was because they were speaking in straight English. There was only one time you spoke in Tagalog, that was Independence Day.
Yeah.
Di ba?
Initially.
Araw ng kalayaan. Araw ng
kalokohan.
No? But otherwise, yun na nga yun eh, no? These DJs spoke, well, flawless English, no? And then they were able to capture a really broad spectrum of the market. And that's really very impressive, no? Kaya nga sabi ko doon sa one of our teasers, unstoppable ang KC that time, no? Mitch.
Alam mo, George.
Bobby.
George, alam mo, during that time, we weren't conscious about our voice. We were not, di ba, karamihan nun, modulated, pagandahan ng boss. Kami just be yourself.
DZMB, this jokers. Di ba? Mga
kami, we had we just did our thing, natural, taglish kung pwede. Wala, we were just having fun talaga.
Si Mitch ka, ganda ng boses, pinapapangit eh.
Pinagalitan ako. When I started, I used to modulate, di ba when you modulate a few notes down, di ba? Hello everybody, hi, ganyan. When I started at KC, pinagalitan ako, sabi, hey, change your natural tone, bring it higher. I said, higher? Not lower? Okay.
So, mas masikip na yung brief na suot mo. Ganun yan.
Oh, yeah.
What brief?
No, Drew? Ano, Andrew?
Let it
What
hang.
brief are you talking about?
Commander.
Pare,
Commander.
nawawala ulit si Rudy. Nawala na si Rudy.
No, here's a little anecdote.
Yun eh.
When I started,
here's a point.
Si Willy.
Yung halimbawa, there are a lot of upscale stations now. For example, TM, and they talk Tagalog, sometimes straight Tagalog. They banter in Tagalog, but they're still branded as upscale. But they never get the C and D. They don't get the C and D. But you know, one of the quirks of radio. It's all in the mind. It's nasa listener yun eh.
And sa akin nga yung every time I write an article or whatever, talk about radio, yun ang inaano ko eh, no? Yung KC is what you might call an enigma and a phenomenon. I don't think it could be duplicated. No, nobody could understand how it happened, why it happened, but it happened. Yun ang ano doon eh. Maganda doon eh, di ba?
The thing is, you can't really explain WKC in a paragraph.
Oo.
Marami kang ikikwento talaga doon. At saka everything fell into place nung panahon na yon. I think everyone was looking for something that would be sugary sweet na talagang devil may care kahit na suntok sa buwan, bahala na kung tumawa ka o hindi. Ayan, yun ang tingin ko.
Tukayong Bob.
Ay,
Alam mo
Bobby.
Tukayo?
Yeah, sige.
The secret, we were just having fun.
That really permeated on air. Yung talagang fun. It was fun. You want to have fun, you have a problem, you're driving, go to KC, and matatawa ka na lang no? Minsan sa kakornihan, matatawa ka pa rin Yan na. Magkakalat na
we were having fun initially. We were having fun initially, but after that, we were looking for funds.
Hindi ba dumating agad, Bobby?
Hindi.
Hindi ba dumating agad yon yung success, yung funds? At least hindi nyo naramdaman agad?
Hindi. We did. Ako, naramdaman namin yun, lahat.
Oh, yeah.
Kasi
so, puro funds na pala kayo.
Kasi lahat ng nandun sa sa AM, BL, carried over sa amin
syempre. Pati nga yung mga kantang tinutugtog nyo kinary over nyo, di ba? You light up my life.
By the way, we were also doubling as salespeople.
Yes.
Okay.
We sold our
stations. So we also got commissions. We were selling our stations. At least some of us. Si Willy, ako, si Rudolph, si Happy Louie.
Solo.
Reggie.
So we would after our respective shows, we would go to the advertising agencies and service the agencies. You can just imagine tuwang-tuwa sila kasi nakikita nila yung mga naririnig nila sa radyo.
Fans no? You're Hillbilly Willy?
There was
Why?
Seriously, there was even a time one of us, I won't mention the name, papasok sa ad agency. Meron ba kayong BO para sa amin? Yun ang tanong. Hindi ganun siya mag-service.
Broadcast.
Wala. Bye-bye. Pick up BOs lang kami noon. That was the day.
We were rating them.
Talagang
those are the days.
BO is broadcast order, no?
Yeah,
broadcast order.
body order.
For those who are unfamiliar, that translates into the commercials. Those are that's how the station makes the money. And then we had something like, how many stop sets do you have in an hour? 6 ba yan?
Stop set? Tapos you had 18 minutes of commercials
18? Hindi
18 lang yata.
18 tapos 23 songs to play per hour, di ba?
So we had a lot. We had to be creative.
The recording companies were forgiving.
Yeah.
No, we had to be creative in how to squeeze everything in, di ba? I mean,
and mix, Mitch, right?
Yeah.
Mix.
Yeah,
right, Mitch.
Yeah.
Mix.
Yep.
George.
Mixing the songs.
Yeah.
+6 on the speed of the record.
George.
Wala, +2 lang kami.
Yeah, Bobby.
Yeah. When we were servicing the agencies, the media buyers were just too happy to be with us, partying with us, instead of the other way around, inviting them to party with us. They would love to be with us. So you can just imagine the kind of advertising revenues. Andali magbenta noon.
Yun na nga no? Can you imagine?
Hindi na kailangan lumigaw.
Still on the subject of funds, okay? Kami lang ang nakakapunta abroad several times with our wives, fully paid.
Yeah. Reward yun sa inyo, di ba?
Bonus.
Aming pera yun.
Ay, sa inyo.
Our funds.
Oo. Meron kaming funds na si Bobby ang promotor nito
But
siyang ways and means namin
But that involved. Remember, Willy,
meron namang konti. May konting naman yung management. After they saw that we were traveling using our own funds, parang, oops, bakit sila bumabaya? Hindi na, tumulong naman.
Nahiya sa inyo.
So, imbis
a dinner or two.
But that was remember that was an evolution. It just didn't happen overnight. So,
Yes.
So,
Towards the end na yun.
So, imbis na barkong sinasakyan nyo, nag-aeroplano na kayo na sponsor.
Yeah.
Oo.
Barko, bangka.
And remember the first time we went on a trip, and then we cracked that silly joke on the air that we were going on strike. So because we knew we'd be gone for a few days, diba? Was it 3 days pa? 7 days? Yung Baguio.
And then we would get DJs from all of our provincial FM stations, and they would go on board for several days.
And they would be more than glad. They would be more than glad to board on KC Manila.
Oh, Manila
Yeah, diba? So I don't know who started it. Somebody cracked the joke. We won't be around next week. We're going on strike. Actually, we're going on vacation, but we said we were going on strike. So, and it snowballed. After a while, may tumatawag na from sales. Hey, can you please stop that on strike thing? Nagpapanik yung mga advertisers, magpo-pull out na sila. Ha? Hindi, nagdidiro lang po kami. So,
it was a joke station, right?
Yeah, eventually kasi George, Bob, Teddy, the relationship kasi between, I guess, the announcers and the advertisers was very unique, di ba? Kaya nung magpapakasyon kami, sabi na mag-strike, sabi nung ayaw na namin, pull out kami. So, panic talaga yung sales noon. Sabi, okay, magaganyan. But that was one. But
pwede nating recall yung time slot ninyo noon. Sino yung sign on to sign off?
Walang sign on.
Walang sign on.
Oh.
Si Cholong sign on, di ba? Tapos si Hiro.
6 to 9 ako
6 to 9 si Willy.
Tapos si
kasabay ko
Happy Louie 9 to 12.
Yun, kasunod. Tapos
12 to 3.
Si Bobby, station manager nun
si Reggie.
Bob.
Si Reggie rin. Si Reggie, nagbo-board.
Si Reg, tapos si Bob, di ba?
Si Reg Bob.
Si Reg Bob. Si
Vic was what, 9 to 12? Vic was 6 to 9.
Vic was still there, Vic sa Balvaro.
Yeah, and then the juniors kami, we normally get stuck first at night. Kasi siyempre they were cautious about putting the juniors in to the rating slots, di ba? To make sure that But here's the other anecdote. On my first day at
by the way, ang juniors nun, si Mitch, si Ray, Andy. At saka si Andy.
Brian.
Apat. Yes, Brian, yes.
Brian. Yeah. So ako yung when I started, ako yung unang junior di ba? Before Brian. So when I started on my very first day,
sinunog mo yung kanin. Remember? Hindi namin makakalimutan yan.
Saan yun Sa biyahe yun, Bob. Sa biyahe yun No. The first day on board, I remember it was scary kasi, di ba? I mean, I was joining this team of not only crackpots, but really, as in really number one in the industry. And then I was going on board after Mike. It's a Saturday night that my first board work was. It was Feb 22. And then, so Mike was 6 to 9. And then I said, hey, Mike, I'm going on board after you. I know, he goes. And I said, since Mike was the station manager, I said, Mike, any instructions? And then he just looks at me straight in the eye and he says, Mitch, you have 3 hours. Make sure you rate.
Ouch.
Tall order.
Imagine that was very, very simple. You have 3 hours, make sure you rate. And that was underlying in everybody's mind, diba? That was the basic order for everybody. So that's why, true. You have the business end of it, but you also have the creative side of it. Everybody's doing all their own stuff and doing all the funny stuff and all the fun stuff. And then pag alis, diba? After board work, dire-diretso trabaho na. And tayo yung iba naman magpo-produce and all of this. It's really a unique environment. Medyo strange.
Rudy, okay ka na ba? Rudy looks very animated today.
Oo nga
Para siyang yung layout ng pera, yung lalagay sa...
Avatar. Avatar yata yung avatar.
Ito Facebook si Rudy.
Teka, Mitch.
Mitch, George.
Kanina pa kumakatok yung ano eh, oh. Yung mga scuba diver sa likod mo, Mitch.
Sorry.
Kanina pa
Papasukin mo.
That's my family.
Bobby, you were saying something.
Bob. To
Bobby?
Yeah. Speaking of Mike, si Mike would board Saturdays 6 to 9. Once a week siya nagbo-board. I remember, ako papalit sa kanya, ako yung 9 to 12 Saturday. Ang ginagawa ko minsan, umuwi ako ng Bicol on my day off. Lilipad ako ng eroplano ng Thursday after my show. Babalik ako ng Sabado.
Grabe.
A couple of times, I would miss my flight going home on a Saturday night. Kasi usually ginagawa ko from the airport, diretso ako mag-board. Tatawagan ko si Mike. Mike, malilate ako. Bakit? Nandito ako sa Bicol. What? Gaganin si Mike. Ano oras ka dadating? Hindi ko alam, Mike. Naiwan pa. Bukas dadating ko. Magwawala yan si Mike.
Dapat may dala kang pasalubong, pare.
Pilinat.
Pilinat. Ano.
Hindi, at saka,
pero mag-board, diretso ni Mike yan. Kasi may usapan, di ba,
mute.
Ang trabaho natin, pag wala ka pang kapalit, hindi ka pwede umalis.
Oo, bagoong.
Ginagawa na, hindi umaalis si Mike. In fairness, hindi aalis yon. Kasi unang-una, meron siyang bisita, nagdadala, may pagkain siya doon, okay lang sa kanya.
Was there ever a time na binagoong nyo si Mike ng mga 8 oras?
Hindi ko na alam eh. Hindi ko maalala.
Kami,
kasi si Mike,
usually, ako na-experience ko 7 hours. Yun na yung pinakamahaba.
Ikaw ang napagong.
Sinong papalit sa'yo?
Si Wild Vic.
Si Vic, the late Vic.
I'd take over from 3 to 7, tapos 7 to 10 dapat siya. Dahil maraming commercial, so hindi pwede. So, yun. Di ba yung Philcoms yan, the elevator was really shaky. Pag walang elevator, hindi naakyat si Wild. So,
15 floors. 15
sabihin na lang sa akin ng tech, wala si Wild, diretso ka hanggang 10. Okay, sige.
Tsaka sa Philcom, speaking of Philcoms, kailangan kaibigan mo yung mga gwardya. Kasi pag sign off ka, pag alas 9 ka, papatay nila yung elevator, sabihin nila sira. Pag hindi mo sila kakutsaba. Merong stasyon doon sa amin na medyo mayayabang, hindi nila binabastos nila yung mga gwardiya. Ayun. Lagi sila umaakyat.
Pangalanan mo na, Bobby.
Wala na, patay na yata yung mga
Speaking of Wild Vic, he illustrated the WKC jukebox.
Ayan, yung jukebox na yan, kumita ba kayo dyan? Sino publisher niyo dyan?
Actually, this was, if you will notice, was written especially for the 10th Philippine
Ad Congress. Ad Congress.
Pinamigay, giveaway namin. Giveaway.
That's why collector's copy.
Yeah. A few episodes ago, mga collector yung kausap namin eh. So baka hinahunting na nila ngayon yan. May halaga na yan, Willy.
Benta mo, mga 50,000 dyan.
George, si Willy, nagbebenta on the side niyan, hindi namin alam. Malaki na kinita ni Willy.
Ano ko bigay yan, pero binibenta ni Willy.
May nakita kasi ako sa bagay. Sa National Bookstore kasi may nakikita akong ganyan eh.
Si Willy nagbenta nun.
WKC? Hindi WKC.
WKC. By Hillbilly Willy nga eh, no?
Ha?
Wow, Willy
George, bira naman. Magagalit sa akin yung mga ko.
George, alam mo, nung umpisa.
Eto na, George.
Ayan, plaka.
Si Mati.
May pirma ba yan? Sino pumirma dyan?
May pirma?
Pumirma na
May pirma ni Mike?
Wala.
American
Rapper's Delight.
Hillbilly Willy.
Side, ano yan? 1981 yan.
Get up and boogie.
Yes.
Diba?
Kasi na hip, hop, a hippie do the hippie.
Kaya yung pangalan ko dyan, dyan.
Oo nga, Hillbilly Willy eh.
Okay.
Bakit walang pirma ni Mike?
Galing, ha?
Walang pirma
Hindi
ni
nga,
Mike.
Pirated yan, Willie.
Once per show. Once per show.
Tinutok
Willy.
ni Willy yan, hindi alam ni Mike.
Ayan, ito mo. Marie Flor says, I got 3 joke books but I lost it in the blood. In the
Bakit blood?
Flood siguro.
Binasa niya, tinugo
Ayun,
siya,
yun.
tinugo.
Ayun, flood na.
Tapos,
Tinugo.
si Matty Fernando, collector din yon, meron daw siyang joke book. Saan niya nabili yun? Di ba?
Hindi binibili yan.
Sabihin niya na. Si Willy yon, si Willy.
Si Willie nagbebenta.
Yung nagtago sa
Alam mo,
mga
George,
1,000 kopya, tapos binibenta na through the
George, nung bago lang ang KC, speaking of National Bookstore, pinapakyaw namin yung mga joke books sa National.
Yeah.
Para wala makabasa.
Yun ang... Hindi.
material nila.
Doon namin dinadampot yung mga jokes namin. Pero mostly American jokes noong umpisa. Medyo social yung jokes namin noon. Hanggang sa naubos na namin, wala na kami mapagkunan, we had to hire 2 gag writers full-time.
Oh, man!
Plus, we had to open the lines. Nagulat kami when we started asking listeners to send in their jokes. Ang dami pala mga siraulo sa Manila. Sa radyo, George, sa radyo, gusto nila, can I dedicate a song? Babanggitin mo yung pangalan nila. Sa amin, may plus. You share a joke and then we'll mention your name. Kaya, that's probably why it caught on. Wala pa social media noon eh. Telepono pa lang eh.
Correct.
Yan yung shout out.
Interactive.
That's why the listeners had to share their best jokes for them to be credited on the air, for them to be mentioned on the air.
Kasi sinasalang din namin yung mga jokes eh.
So yung DJ na nakaupo, sila namimili nung airing jokes sa time slot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Si Rudy, mahilig gumawa ng sarili niya yan.
Si Rudy yan eh. Hanggang ngayon na.
Sarili sikap yan.
I remember back then.
Marami
Yun, gumagalaw na.
Yun. Pare, listen. Magsasalita si Rudy.
Quiet, everyone.
Or I get dropped again. Parang nag-drop eh. Parang it's always coming out na only the host can see you. Wait. Yun nakalagay sa akin. So go off. Anyway, back in the day, I would spend 3 hours in the bathroom just writing jokes.
Bakit sa bathroom?
I would get the newspaper. I'd read the papers para updated. Then I'd concoct jokes. I remember yung nauso sa PLDT yung zero backlog.
Yeah.
That's what you call toilet humor.
So I said, from now on, PLDT is no longer
toilet humor nga yun, toilet humor.
Male, no, not entertaining male applicants. Sabi ko gano'n. Sabi, why? Because there's zero backlog. Yun.
Toilet humor nga.
Pati sa retro.
And I remember.
Maski na nasa RJ tayo eh.
Sa RJ, yes.
We do knock jokes kasi most jokes are only sound alikes eh. Homophones ba yun? It's not homonyms, it's homophone. Anyway, sound alike. Like one time I went, knock, who's there? I love you. I love you who? Bayang magiliw. Para sa sinanganan, I love you puso. Sumulat yung, what's his name?
Mahuhuli ka na yan.
Or something. Yung nationalist, sabi, please don't do jokes about national anthem. And Mike calls me, no more jokes about political jokes, no jokes about the fly or yung mga ganun.
So yun ang gusto mong tanungin ko, Rudolph.
If you remember what's his name? Anyway, we'd sing along sa radio.
Senior moments, Rudy.
If you remember, there ought to be a law against frustrated singers posing as DJs.
Yun.
So that against frustrated singers posing as DJs. Tapos si Mike said, "Is that you, Rudy?" Sabi ko, most likely either me, Willie, or Cholo. Kasi
Cholo.
And then he goes, sabi ko, Mike, so we should stop singing. No, keep doing it. They're listening to you.
Di ba?
That's right.
Rudolph,
Cholo,
yun ang gusto ko itanong sana. Meron ba kayong agreement na ito bawal, itong klaseng joke na ito? O dapat dito mas marami sa ganitong klase?
Wala.
No,
Self-regulation.
guys, dadagdag ko lang.
Unless advertiser na yung nagreklamo. There was one time.
Yun,
I remember I had the joke na when you're crazy, Cindy's is the place to be. Sumulat yung Cindy's. Nagalit sila.
Yari ka.
Nasaan na sila ngayon? Nasaan na yung Cindy's ngayon?
Sarado na.
They don't understand.
Willie, sino nakaisip nung eksakto kasi nung events nung panahon na yun, especially 1986 na revolusyon.
Okay.
Sino nakaisip nung corny? Ang tagal umalingaw-ngaw noon. Lahat ng jeep yata yun ang naririnig ko. Who was it?
I like that.
Mga anak ko yung mga anak ko gumawa ng jingle nung yung Cindy's, Crazy, pati yung corny.
Pero una kami si Dennis. Yung dalaw ni Dennis yung corny. Ganon.
Alam mo, Bob, yung mga ganon,
you know how this started? Yung Smile Radio, one day before our broadcast, when we moved to KC, one day before, we had a meeting, brainstorming. Sabi ni Mike, so we were all quiet. Sabi niya, so what do we do? What do we, format natin? Ganon. Tapos we were all quiet and I was just looking at it, smiling. Sabi niya, I like this guy. He's always smiling. Tapos sabi niya, I got it. Smile Radio. Why do we call ourselves Smile Radio? And then yun.
Mm-hmm.
Sabi niya, okay, Smile Radio. And then, because Smile Radio, we started buying joke books. We started, reading up, sourcing jokes, and then we'd air them. Mga social pa yung mga joke namin nun because American yung mga joke books. And then, evolve.
So for all those...
sound alikes lang eh.
Oh, tapos, alam mo, George, we had to study how to write jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kaya lang, grabe, yung concept was just, it came out of nowhere, di ba? Yung gano'n na nangyari. And for all those of you who thought...
naman yan eh. Like, I remember, sabi ko noon, sorry.
Yeah. Rudy, go.
Ako, nag-freeze na naman siya. May follow-up ako doon sa kung may nag-complain, kung may nag-complain na advertisers, sino katulad nun, yung sa Cindy's? Di ba sabi nyo, kayo din yung nagsa-service eh. So nagkaroon ba ng conflict? Sino ba yung may hawak ng Cindy's? Malaking advertiser noon yun.
Wala sila. Wala silang advertising company.
Oh, direct account yun
Oo, direct.
Direct account ang Cindy's eh.
At tinigil namin.
Tinigil yung alin, yung joke.
Skin disease yung punchline.
Pero hindi sila tumagal sa business because they failed to accept the reality that whatever it is, as long as you're being talked about, it's still good news. It's still publicity.
Yes. Publicity.
Buti patay na nun yung white bikini creeps,
Uy, si Mike Pedero.
Alam mo, marami kaming nilalampun. Hindi lang advertiser, pati mga tao. But a lot of them took it in stride kasi alam nila joke station kami. Wala naman na halos, actually wala akong naalala na napipikot mga jokes namin. Especially during that time, 85, 86, kasagsagan ng people power yon. Wala pang social media noon. This was a way of venting their ire on the administration by cracking jokes.
At saka anong tawag mo sa papatol sa loko-loko?
Yun na nga eh.
Willie? Tatawag mo sa...
Ang tawag mo sa papatol sa loko-loko?
Mas loko-loko.
Actually, dati kasi may nagtanong... dati may nagtanong nga sa akin in a forum. Why do you think KC was very popular, especially during those times, yung mga 80s? Sabi ko, yung personal analysis ko lang, we were in so much turmoil that time, daming anger and angst, and KC provided the lighter side of life.
Dapat kasama ka namin, George.
Ang problema, hindi naman niyo ako tinanggap, buwisit.
It was,
Kaya,
George,
PF.
tama ka, George. It was a way of releasing their pent-up
Yes.
emotions.
Oo eh. Ang ganda eh. It was so timely talaga eh. Yung talagang perfect timing eh. You know, ang hindi lang talaga tama sa ginawa nyo, hindi nyo ako tinanggap eh.
May
Ayaw
hugot ka
kasi ni
pala
Butch
rin.
Kanoy eh.
George, we repent. We repent, George.
Yeah. Boysen o Dutch boy? We repent.
Repent.
It's called save their father.
General.
Whether in
Hoy!
good times or bad times, whether in
Yes, sir.
turmoil or pandemic, di ba? Humor will always be a part. Everybody listens to the radio for fun, for companionship, not for music. Why? Especially now, because music can be accessed on your phone, Spotify. Your entire playlist can be accessed whenever you want to hear it.
Yeah.
But on radio, it's different. They want to hear. They want to be humored. They want to be entertained. They want to be accompanied. They want to have fun with somebody. Because the music, let's face it, all of the radio stations play
The same kind
80% the same music. The same music. 80%. Yung 20%, nag-iiba-iba sila depending on their niche, depending on their target audience. But yung music na yun pwedeng ma-access from a variety of sources which was not available at the time before. Now, so the more it is important to be focused on the audience and to provide that kind of entertainment and value.
You know, as a testimonial to that, a lot of our viewers right now, yung mga dati hindi naman natin viewers to. All of a sudden, because of the KC guys, biglang nagsalihan. Maybe they're really hungry for humor and seeing you guys, and being disappointed seeing you guys. By the way, I just want to shout out kay Scott McLean in Hong Kong. He's the biggest sound system supplier in Hong Kong. I usually work with him when we do concerts in Hong Kong. Hello, Scott. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Anyway,
hi, Scott. You have an opening, Scott?
General, you were saying something.
Ano sinasabi ko?
Bata mo naman mga senior moment.
Yung jokes talaga from the start. I speaking from a listener na naging part of this, parang when I got in, feeling ko very big shoes to fill in kasi yun pinasukan ko eh. So I really had to come up with all the jokes and everything. And ang hirap din eh. Ang hirap din na 3 hours kang
on board.
Parang puro tawa ka lang ng tawa. After 3 hours, parang yung zombie, parang wala na yun.
Oh yeah, it really very draining. It's draining, no? Kaya ba ganyan na itsura mo ngayon?
Oh, no.
George, ito magandang tanong. Halimbawa, hindi pa nangyari yung KC noon. At may makaisip na nanyan ngayon sa ganitong era na hindi ba lahat ng radio stations ngayon meron na ring Facebook Live or YouTube. Ano kaya? Mag-click kaya yun ngayon? Paano?
Kung kasama itong mga to, palagay ko mag-click. No, it's not because na magkakaharap tayo, no? Kaya lang iba eh. When you're cracking jokes, it's not only the joke, it's the timing of the joke.
The delivery.
Oo eh. Iba yun eh. Di ba? Ayun.
Kasi kahit kumisang corny, basta yung timing, di ba? Yung delivery, punchline.
Ayan, the guys
minsan, dapat corny lagi. Kasi bahala ka sumakay eh. Iba-iba rin ang level ng pagtanggap ng tao eh. May mga tao na huling-huli na sa tawa pero humahabol pa ng tawa, di ba? Yun yung mga nakakatawa sa lahat eh.
At ang
delayed reaction.
Yeah, delayed reaction. And that in itself is funny. Kaya na-appreciate tuloy yung ganito. Yung effort pa lang is notable as it is.
Yung nakikinig kayo, may kasama ka, tapos tawanan kayong ganyan, no? Si Willy, tawa na, ganyan. Tapos biglang yung katabi mo, after a few seconds, ano daw?
Tsaka tatawa.
Bob, sila pasagutin
Tsaka
natin.
natatawa.
Pasagutin natin yung mga DJs ng KC. Ano sa tingin nyo kung mangyari yan ngayon sa era na ito?
Pwede. Dapat mangyari pa rin.
Oh.
Ako
But it's it has to be evolved. It has to be technologically evolved also.
Kasi mayroon ng Facebook.
Oo.
No, ako I have a slightly different point of view. Baka hindi mag-work in this era simply because current hindi marunong pumreno ang mga ngayon, 'di ba, ang mga bata, most people hindi kasi kami when we were cracking our jokes, we knew when to stop or we knew what not to talk about or what not to joke about, 'di ba? The difference between being funny or humorous and being offensive na. Hindi kami nag-board. Ngayon, just for the sake of being different, a lot of people just blurt their minds out, di ba? In the feeling funny, but they're not because they're already offensive or parang ako, that's just me. I think if it's going to work today, tama si George, you'd still need a bunch of guys who think, who make it look easy. Yes. But in reality, there are so many aspects that we have to maintain and to kumbaga to control at the same time, di ba? It looks fluid, it looks funny, it looks spontaneous, pero ang daming preparation, di ba? Like, Willy, for example, in the morning when he'd go on board with two characters, di ba? Si Stink and si Animal. Before he does his bit, before they turn mics on, they kind of agree where they're headed, di ba, Willy? Ito gagawin natin. And then alam nila, this is live, they're looking at each other and they know exactly when to release the call sign. Kasi pag nag-a-adlib, di ba? Pare, alam niyo yan, mag-a-adlib ka sa kanta, kailangan pag bitaw mo ng call sign, eksakto dapat lyrics na. Mahirap yan kung mag-isa ka. Lalo pa yung ginagawa ng mga to, di ba? 3 kayo or 4 kayo, then you have to control, di ba? And then the timing, and then kailangan pag bitaw niyan, eksakto dapat as if fun. So I guess it can be done, but people have the new generation has to know when to rein in.
Yeah.
There are a few announcers who came after us, and some who even passed through the station, who did not know how to rein in and stop, di ba? Kaya napapaaway, di ba? And they get fired and they get thrown from one station to another. Yes, they get popular because they're controversial. But controversies can only go so far, di ba? It can't.
Precisely.
Hindi makapreno.
That's where you separate the professionals from the wannabes, di ba? Importante yun eh. You really have to be a professional. Kagaya nga sabi mo si Willy, really yung show prep niya, hindi lang show prep, but during the program, they talk about it while the song is playing. And that's a very difficult thing to do, aside from playing your 18 minutes of commercials.
Yeah. And you have to remember, George, di ba, each commercial was on a cart. And you'd have to put it in at the exact time.
Yes.
And take it out and put it back on the rack. So each stop set, yung mga naranasan namin, 10 to 15 commercials. And then you'd have to cue the records on vinyl.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to answer the phone. And then when they introduce the beeper, you have to look at the beeper. So tama si Willy, parang performance talaga.
Yeah,
and
it is a performance.
You wouldn't be able to talk to. You'd have to talk to the people also in the studio. So it was something. When I got back in radio a couple of years ago, puro computerized na. Parang wala. Ang importanteng tool sa akin nun were my glasses. Wala.
You can prepare a 3-hour show ahead of time. Just leave it. Just press play, and that's it.
Yeah. No, George, Bob, and Teddy. Remember, at WKC before, at the Philcom Sen studio, at least, we had the 10 10 lang yun, di ba? Rotary yung console natin, yung board namin, 10
input.
10 channels.
10 knobs.
10 knobs.
Rotary ba?
Rotary, Pihit, malalaking knobs. Pero isipin mo, so you had toggle switches between audition and program, but you had only 10 controls. We had 6 cart machines, 1 cassette deck, 2 turntables, 4 microphones. Isipin mo yung AD noon, no? Tapos, di ba, yung apat na cart machine pa lang, magic yun kasi 6 na cart machine pala. The 6 cart machines had to be shared among 4 inputs. So meron kang, was it, tama ba? 7, 8, 9, 10.
8, Mitch, 8 cart machines.
Hindi mo sinama yung mga CD player, pati yung sampler ko.
Hindi, CD. Ano na kasi
sampler pa ako nun.
May sampler pa. Tapos may keyboard pa sa harap. Kasi,
keyboard.
Sabi ko na may dala ka pa musical instrument eh.
Nakaiwan yun. Kami yung nagpauso ng may bumili yan, di ba? Yung CZ1, yung kaso na sampler, parang that's aside from all the other sound effects, di ba? So imagine, yung tama 8 kasi hati yung A at saka B ko lagi nakaabang yung laugh tracks no at saka yung stinger. Tapos 6 na yung commercials. Imagine all of those inputs you have to squeeze into 10. Tapos biglang sasagot ka pa ng telepono, tapos minsan tatawag pa yung master control booth kasi niraradyohan ka pala ni Buma kasi may ginawa ka pa yung mali o kakailangan. You really don't have time. Parang walang automation, di ba? Your pinakapahinga is something like 2 minutes while the song is going on. And you know if one of us was 2 minutes. You'd know if one of us was had to go to the bathroom. Alam mo yun pag nagbanyo, maririnig mo yung rapper's delight. Di ba?
Yung pala yung
rapper. Yung 15 minutes yun eh. Kasi di ba? Uy!
Live dance ni Sonia Belolo.
Yan.
Ayun, isa pa yun.
9 minutes.
Diba? Kasi pag sumalang...
Alam mo, George.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob.
Pagkatapos mo mag-board noon, pagod na pagod talaga kami.
I can imagine.
Pero hindi lang yon. Hindi lang yon. After that, we would still sit and write our jokes nung wala pa kaming gag writers. We would write our own jokes or we would make a research, go to National, buy books. Tapos magsa-sales pa kami magsa-service pa kami nila Willy. Magsa-sales pa kami. Magsa-sales kami si Reggie, si Willy, ako si Louie. I had to drop out of law school because of that. Kasi it was a full-time job.
Kasalanan pa natin.
Kasalanan ninyo.
Nilaglag mo pa yung stasyon.
Sarap pa nga nun eh.
Pero kasi halos alam mo, halos doon na kami nakatira. Doon kami natutulog.
Yeah.
Not to mention we would entertain visitors kasi ang laki ng booth namin. Ang daming pumupunta doon, mga siyempre chika ka sa mga estudyante, interviews and everything.
And then every time you'd meet somebody, uy, taga WKC. Joke naman, no? Sige na, joke.
Mag-joke.
Sample naman, joke.
Sample lang.
Sarap batukan. Joke ka dyan.
Pero after all this, alam mo, like I said, it starts and ends with fun. Nag-enjoy lang kami and we were riding the tide, ika nga.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We were just riding the tide, going with the flow. Until such time, siyempre, hindi naman pwedeng tumagal ito. There was a time, medyo lumalabas na sa tenga namin yung mga jokes.
Riding the tide.
May lumabas na, Willy
Sa ibang agency, we were surfing the breeze.
Yung lumabas nga yung question why did the station change format afterwards?
It was a business decision. It was not our decision.
Remember that it was a timing. The timing was nagkaroon ng crisis noon, Asian crisis.
Yeah.
Right before.
There was an Asian crisis, and for maybe 1 or 2 years, everybody was hurting, and everybody was saying there's something wrong with us, or we gotta change our style if we want to. But looking back, it never did. In fact, the station now is back to the old masa format.
Yeah.
Willie,
Yeah.
like I said, it was a business decision.
Yes.
We were getting to be top heavy. We were one of the highest paid group of announcers in the industry. And tama si Willie, related to the Asian crisis, management wanted to cut down on costs. And it was their way of saying masyado na kayong mahal. We can do something that's more cost effective according to them, which never actually materialized.
And then what happened? Wala na lang kayo? Tinapon na lang kayo afterwards?
Yeah, we were still there.
Okay.
The three of us were assistant vice presidents. I was in charge of the Luzon stations. Bobby was in charge of the Metro Manila operations, AM and FM. And then Cholo was in charge of the provincial station.
Baguio.
So we had other chores aside from going on board, Casey. In fact, when the format changed, Bobby took me off the air because I was so
I'm sure hindi handsome.
of the old culture.
You were so Willie to me. Bago ko sinapawan. You were so what?
Ano yung sinabi mo?
You were taken off the air by Bobby because
I was
You were so handsome.
I was so representative of the old format.
Okay.
Identified ka masyado.
Identified ako masyado. But nothing changed actually. Bob was so gracious enough not to cut the lifeline. But I was in charge of Luzon operations of our FM stations, and I was in charge also of the entire network FM operations. What do you call that? Production and marketing.
Yes, marketing, packaging, positioning.
Aside from being a disc jockey, I was just taken off as a disc jockey.
Yeah.
But I was working with network and Bob and the whole group all at the same time.
And Bob, that was when the fun was starting to fade.
Yeah.
Parang masyadong management orient. Trabaho na to, seryosong management.
It's starting to eat
wala na yung fun.
Wala
na yung fun side of it eh.
Okay, a lot of DJs are listening right now, no? Yung young DJs. And every time they message me, even before, ang tinatanong nila yung what comes after radio? Like I was in radio before and now I'm doing something else, no? So maybe it would be a good time for you guys to somehow tell our DJs and our audience what's life after radio. Let's start with Bobby. Bob?
Family.
Family.
Family is always there to back you up, to go to. That's really, iba pag may pamilya. Ask Willie, he has how many grandchildren? So
how many families?
Ask Mitch.
How many families?
Ask Rudy. How many families? How many grandchildren? Joke.
So what do you do now,
seriously?
Bobby? What do you do now?
Partly radio sales and insurance advisor for Sun Life.
Okay. I see. So you still do radio sales?
Radio sales, yes.
Ayun. What about si Mitch? So what do you do now? Life after radio? Are you still involved in radio?
You just listen to the commercials.
Yeah, I was lucky enough na sometime towards the end of my career with KC. It opened up also inroads to the advertising agencies to that side of the world, diba? So I still do voicing for continuity. I did continuity announcing for different TV networks, commercials, TV commercials, AVPs. I still do that, live voiceovers. But of course, over the years, you still have to improve on yourself. So I got into underwater photography, underwater videography. Then I got into directing. So I direct na rin, live staging and some video materials if need be, di ba? But
sana may innovation ka, underwater voiceovers.
sinubukan ko 'yon. Kaso lang hirap eh. Limitado yung audience mo.
Puro isda.
It's a fishy job. That sounds really fishy.
Kung si Aquaman ginagawa yun di kaya mo rin.
Kalakas sa hangin yun, man. No. But yeah, that's for me that's kahit paano pa rin, the microphone still is an important part of my life. Yun lang yung pagiging live. When I switched to live staging, to voicing for live events and corporate and doing corporate events even as director, yung buhay mo as a disc jockey, as an announcer on radio, it suddenly comes back. Kasi sa radio pare, una bawal ang gap, di ba? You have to your program has to be well thought of and well prepared, and it has to be creative to be interesting to an audience that you don't see. Same thing, di ba? Sa live, medyo lamang ka, you get to see, but if you make a mistake, that's it, di ba? You can't go back and you can't say take two and stuff like that. But that's buhay pa rin kahit paano, surviving, di ba? But tama si Bob, family's always been there.
How many kids do you have?
I have 5, but then the question of how many families was that? Minsan kasi, but then that's a longer story. Sabi nga ni Mike, you lost your job, you lost your car, what did you lose next? And then I didn't say, anyway, but I have 5 kids, I have 2 grandchildren, and they keep me focused. So,
very nice.
At least masaya.
Okay, let's go to Hill.
Thanks.
Family's always been there. Yeah. Had a business, still have a business, a family business. That's not doing pretty well because of the pandemic. It's in construction, design and construction. I've tried teaching Chinese students English online.
Okay.
And then there are some clients who still get me for live hosting, doing some shows, some audiovisuals, production, and basically that's it. Fixing the house.
Would you go back to radio? If given the chance?
I dream of that day when it would be my last hurrah.
Yeah.
I still got much to give. I think I can give it one last shot. No, I know I can, but I know that there's still. I'm a very competitive person, and every time I listen to the radio, there are a lot of things that are not being done right. Not done right, but that could be done better.
Better, yes,
better.
That's right.
Better. Yes, better.
Yeah,
but I see a lot
the
of
technology.
A lot of mistakes. Yes, no, not just with technology, but the way presenters do their job. Just plain English. Even English is mali. And
It's horrendous.
Yes. Somehow it gets to be acceptable and becomes the norm. But that's okay. But music, technology, it can be improved. Pero I know I'm raring for that one last opportunity. But on the side, I got 6 kids, same wife, 15 grandchildren that I adore.
What? 15 grandchildren?
Yes. I got 6 kids.
My goodness.
All of them were my 6 kids were born at the height of radio. They were my entertainment.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine that he goes on board, he sells, he manages several stations, and he still gets a chance to make kids.
Yeah, and take care of them.
That's the stress of it, George.
That's the
stress
of it. Yeah.
George.
Yeah, Bob.
That was his way of de-stressing.
Actually, actually, it's
at least only one part of his body is stressed when that happens, right?
It's the one single thing that kept me sane. The other half is insanity.
The world's only living brain donor.
What about you remember? You remember them. All right.
General.
All the others are dead, pare.
What about General? So is there
Andy?
life after radio?
Oh yeah, actually, radio opened a lot of doors for me. I started teaching English in the call center industry. Did that for several years. Became an officer. My wife and I, after we did corporate, we're doing voiceover work. We're doing dubbing, telenovelas, Korean novelas to English, and lately Tagalog. So I have four kids. We have 4 kids. Beng and I have. My wife Beng used to be with Radio Romance. She was Maxine. So we have 4 kids who are also into dubbing and into voiceover. So it's a family of voiceovers right now, and we all do it from the house. We have a small studio here, and we can do that. Also do live events and all that. And then we have this little place in Zambales that we've been developing for the last several years, and so it's actually open for Airbnb. So that's what we do. Now it just so happens that suerte we can actually record from that place also.
Oh, okay.
So after we've been very fortunate. We were blessed with we're given these blessings. So and right now, because of the pandemic, our work it just revolves here sa bahay. And funny because naka-schedule yun recording. My daughter will have a recording. I save yung studio ganito from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Meron akong podcast and all that. So it's been good so far. Hopefully if I can find a radio station in Subic, maybe. Why not? Diba? Closer to the farm. But lately we've been shuttling back and forth Quezon City and Zambales. That's what we've been busy with. So if they're worried about, the new guys, if they're worried about if there's life after radio, of course, you start with a family, just like everybody else. We're not saying you should get married and all that, but
just start a family.
Start a family or two, get it from.
Parang sagot sa beauty contest. Start my family.
Ganun yun eh. Asa na si Rudy?
Okay naman. So far.
Napag-usapan ng family, nagtago.
Restarting.
George.
Yeah, Bob.
You were asking if we'd like to do this again, or you think it will click? Honestly, when we started KC, we never thought it would click. We just did it. So, in answer to your question, you think this will click again? We don't know. We just have to do it again.
And give it our best
Maybe
shot.
This time kasama ka na, George.
Ay, salamat. Di ba?
Tama na rin natin dapat.
Wala na 9 months training.
Without pay.
Siguro kailangan
Libre t-shirt.
fun talaga yung susi dyan, fun.
Hold it up, Andy. Again, hold up the t-shirt. Yan naman.
Yung ayan.
That's Bob. That's Mike. Saan si Bob? That's me over here.
Galing.
That's me.
That's a t-shirt we got when we won the Bibato Basketball Championship sponsored by San Miguel.
Nanalo pa kayo ng Bibato, Bob? Talaga?
Oo.
Yeah.
Oo.
Kayo naglaro?
Champion kami sa Bibato.
Diba?
Kayo naglaro?
Iba-iba.
RMN.
Si Mike yung coach.
Actually,
Oh,
Si Mike-
talo,
si Mike
talo kami
coach.
nun eh. Nakatatlong ako team eh. Nag-GMA ako, nag-ABC 5 ako, tsaka vintage. Puro talo yun.
Ah. Tinalo namin yung, ano ba tinalo natin? ABS-CBN? ABS-CBN, tinalo namin
Sila
yung
Danny Buena
championship.
pa yan. Sila Danny Buena pa
yeah,
yan.
yeah.
Sila Vic Lima yata.
Oh, si Vic Lima, nandun.
Si Vic De Leon Lima.
Yeah.
Bobby, you were saying just give it a shot, ganyan, no? What do you think are the chances that you're going to be able to get another radio station at this time? Paano, isipin mo, I teach, no? I teach a lot of kids also sa John Robert Powers. And every time we go inside a car, the first thing they say is, does anyone have Spotify? They don't even know what FM is.
Yeah.
Diba?
That's right.
Spotify
Alam mo, George,
is- yeah.
the advantage now is that there's so many forms of media. You mentioned Spotify. It can be on Spotify. It can be on Facebook Live. It can be a podcast. It can be on regular, traditional FM radio. With the advent of social media, mas mapapalaganap nga yung format na ito eh. And there's more interaction. Kami nun, would you believe when we started, Casey, wala kaming telepono sa booth. Remember that, Willie?
Yeah.
We didn't have a booth. Wala kaming linya.
Kailangan
Hindi, wala
lumabas
lang.
pa.
Putol yung linya dun sa booth. So we didn't know what the reaction of our listeners would be. So we just started cracking jokes. Hindi namin alam. Nung nagkaroon na kami ng linya, that's when we found out a deluge of jokesters who were wanting to contribute their own jokes on the. We were really flooded with so many jokesters. Tawag namin doon mga jokesters.
China-challenge
So,
nila kayo eh. Diba?
Yeah.
Lalo na siguro ngayon, may social media.
Yeah.
Here's a suggestion. Do a podcast.
At
Yeah,
saka
do a podcast.
Kaya lang, walang music pag podcast. Yun yung problema.
At nag-request nito yung anak yata ni Mitch eh.
No.
Si Miguel Amuro.
Wala, anak mo, Mitch. Di kaya?
No, alam mo,
Ayaw mo aminin.
Bob, it has to be a combination of various media.
Yeah.
Look,
Kailangan nandun pa rin yung traditional media. Tingnan mo ang ABS, nung nawala ang ABS, nag-ano sila, di ba? Marami silang alternative. Pero ngayon na bumalik na sila, ang dami pa rin nag-like, di ba? Iba pa rin ang may traditional media.
Yeah. Look,
Is
let's
this your
face
phone
it,
number?
guys. Yeah, that was our old phone number.
631.
Let's face it, radio
6315877.
Radio is dwindling fast. But sa Pilipinas, because of internet and so on, hindi pa kasing bilis mawawala, unlike other countries. That is why the need to capture the dwindling radio market is so huge. It must be given serious thought. It cannot be allowed to fade away just like that.
You know,
It will into oblivion. It will disappear.
But you know, that's a very
the
good point.
remaining radio listeners are old, and some are young also. But because of the onset of technology, it's fast dwindling. That's why kailangan seryosohin talaga yung natitirang mga iyon.
Which brings me to this. What is the number one station now? No, AM and FM. It's DWWW. Owned by the Hanois also, no?
Yeah.
It's the number one
That's
radio
right.
station overall, right? No?
Lagot ka kay Mike. Lagot ka kay Mike Enriquez.
What is their no, sila Mike, number one yung slot nila, no? But overall, it's WWW. And it's simply because, what do they do? Music. No? Which brings me to that question. What do you think of an oldies format, which we don't find anymore?
Retro.
Define oldies.
Retro is here to stay.
Retro was a good format.
Yeah.
Kulang lang
It
ng
still
it
is.
was just the mix, the chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
May kulang eh, and the support. Alam mo, kaya siguro nagde-dwindle na yung radio. Kulang ng content.
Yeah.
It's still content. It's still content at the end of the day. During our tinama yung jokes, maybe magke-click ulit, no? We don't know. As I said, we don't know. We just have to launch it. Just launch it.
It's a combination of everything, you know. Kasi jokes are still prevalent now. There are a lot of FM stations who do jokes.
Oh, so many politicians are jokes.
Yeah.
Let's look at Congress.
So it's
Exactly.
it's the right chemistry of signal, music, and jocks. And the jocks who provide information, who provide fun,
The personality.
humor, and
Personality.
Yeah, it's a combination of these three things. It cannot be one or the other. Di ba?
You know what's funny? Not so long ago, somebody posted, was it on Facebook or Twitter? This kid was saying he was wishing now that there was some free form of Spotify that would allow him to listen to music without having to use his cell phone or use data. And the answer was, FM radio po tawag dyan. I got amazed. 2 weeks ago, my kids were in the house. Their children, my grandkids were here, and then I asked Anna, and I asked Anna's the mom of one of my grandkids, and I asked her husband Milo, and I said, I played a song for my grandson. I played Name Game. I said, diba, tayo, kid song, I play Name Game. Diba? Come on, everybody. You know what? Funny. Anna is what? How old's Anna? About 25? None of the kids knew what Name Game was. They didn't even know the song. They said, it's the first time we're hearing that. You know, so it could be something, if we reintroduce radio now, it could be something new to everybody else. It's a new big animal all of a sudden, diba? You don't have you don't have to resurrect it because it's dead, but it's just something so new that diba, it's a reintroduction of something that has always been there, diba? Parang ganun. Imagine they don't know what Name Game is. Huh? They don't know what FM radio is. Parang ganun. Puro Spotify na lang sila tsaka FB Live, diba?
Yes, ganun, yes.
Wala, maybe I would call that in business parlance the blue ocean strategy. Look for a vacuum, diba? Which is not being served. Diba?
Sandali, lalim.
Yan, nasa ocean na tayo eh.
Vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, as against the red
Kaya
ocean.
may scuba gear si Mitch nasa likod.
Yun eh. Ayaw mo talaga pansinin yung mga nasa likod mo.
Ano yun eh?
Ang galing. Anyway, yun ang ano dun eh, no? Yung radio probably is still the most accessible media, no? Form of media.
Right. That's
diba?
That's true, George.
Oo eh.
In the Philippines especially.
Yeah. Tito Encarnacion, sales guy, no? Always says that radio is still it. If you want to go to the far-reaching areas, radio eh. Diba? And that's probably the reason why yung 774, yung WWW is #1. Pag nakikinig ako doon, ano naririnig ko? Somebody from Batangas, Bulacan, Pampanga, they all listen, no? And that's a music station on AM, which was, kumbaga, no, you can't even imagine a music station on AM, no? But they were able to somehow push it.
George,
Yeah.
Tsaka na-endorse ng Pangulo ang transistor radio, ha? Tandaan nyo yan. 91% ang approval rating nun. So, malakas na endorsement.
91 plus 5 plus 5, 101% yun eh. Survey na yun.
In fairness, may point yun eh. Ginawa lang nilang whole number.
George,
Bob.
Speaking of WWW, tama ka. Ang problema, are they getting enough advertising support?
No. I think they are.
Not as much. Not as much as DZMB Love Radio. Sayang eh. Ang tanong bakit hindi sinusuporta ng advertisers?
Yun na nga.
Why are they still supporting Magic and Monster Radio? Kung tutusin, mababa sila sa rating, di ba?
Yun na nga.
Hindi na nakikinig yung mga bata doon.
Pero speaking of radio, tama si Teddy, ang radio, ano pa rin kailangan pa rin, especially in the Philippines, especially with internet down, it's not reaching a lot of our Filipinos everywhere. Kaya nga yung DepEd, nag-launch ng sa radyo ng educational, kasi hindi kaya ng internet At this will still take a long time bago mapaganda yung internet natin. So, ang radyo nandyan na So,
precisely.
I'm sure. Yes. But again, as I said, it has to be a combination of traditional radio and Spotify, Facebook, and a lot of other new technology. But radio will always be there to serve as an anchor. Yun yung yun yung anchor mo
And having said that, yung I'm afraid we're running out of time. It's 5 before noon time. So where's Baby Michael according to Marianne?
Hinahanap hinahanap sa Mike Enriquez.
Mike has a previous engagement.
Yeah.
Mike would I talked to him. He would have wanted. Today he was really excited to join us, but unfortunately he had a previous appointment he couldn't back away from.
Maybe one of these days in the future, maybe we could have you guys back together with Mike
next week.
Why
next
not?
Week?
If Mike is available, why not? Diba? And hopefully Happy Louie will be back from Area 51. What is he doing there at Area 51? He wants to have radioactivity or something? Diba?
I think he's visiting in-laws.
Nevada. He's in Nevada.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, he had a picture.
Vegas. He's in Vegas. Yeah.
Oh, so Vegas, Anyway,
Si Brian din, pwede, from Canada.
Yeah, si Brian, no? Brian, by the way, is Big Buddy Brian in your station, right? But he was Brian Ante.
Dr. Buddy Brian.
The Ayatollah of rock and roll.
Yeah. Yung nagbebenta ng humo.
Dr. Buddy Brian.
Dr. Buddy Brian.
Batya.
Okay. Parting words from these jokers over. Ano nangyari kay Rudy?
Lakers game tapos na, nanalo Heat. What happened to Rudy?
Teka, nanalo Heat?
Nanalo Heat.
Okay,
Yeah.
Panalo.
Tatlo lamang.
3 points. 3 points.
Yeah.
Good. Oh.
3 points.
Okay, Bobby, parting words before we say goodbye.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Good.
Good. And you'll hear from them soon also, hopefully in another radio station. General Andrew P., what about you?
Well, thanks for listening, and hope to get back in radio again, or visit me on the phone. Yeah, we can, talk to the horses,
the
cows,
the farm is called what? Artana, right?
Artana, right.
Artana.
And you can stay. Check it out. It's also on Facebook.
Yeah, where is it located? We're in Zambales.
In Iba, Zambales. Zambales. It's about 2 hours from SDMA. Yeah.
Okay, so check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Artana Farm, run by the General Andrew P. Mitch, your turn.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Stay happy, stay safe, and most importantly, stay sane. Relatively.
Yun, correct.
Very good. Stay sane. And Willie?
Thank you, everyone, for watching and for texting and for saying hello to all of us. So nice to see your name pop up on the screen. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, DJ Hillbilly Willy, and on Twitter, Hillbilly Willy. And always remember, wherever you go, there you are.
All right. Oh, by the way, you can still catch this episode on YouTube and on Showtime. Showtime tuloy. Sa Spotify pala. Showtime.
Si Vice ganda kasama natin.
Sa Spotify and YouTube, you can still catch us on demand. Rivera, thanks, bye everybody.
But One last reminder. I wanted to explain yung ano kasi somebody told me to explain it. Yeah, it's always a joke whenever they hear wherever you go, there you are. But there's a hidden message to it actually. The hidden message is wherever you go,
there you are.
There you are.
There you are. Ayun. Nag-freeze.
flower.
Kuha na.
Can you say that again, Willie? Nag-freeze eh. Paulit.
It may sound corny or it may sound facetious or wherever you go, there you are. But the hidden message there really is everywhere you go, make yourself count. Don't just waste the opportunity of your presence in any place. Don't be a wallflower. Contribute something. Make yourself count. So
Make an impact.
There you are.
There you
Make
are.
an impact.
Yeah. Okay. And
Baguhin mo.
Baguhin mo.
Wherever you go, make an impact.
Pangit, pare.
Iba yung tunog.
Sounds preachy.
Wherever you are,
Sounds
there you go.
preachy.
Impact, congratulations. Thank you. John Yumping, thank you
Thanks,
so
guys.
much. Of course, John is
Dum-dum.
Dum-dum.
Dum-dum. Seahorse.
Seahorse.
Right. Okay, Teddy, your turn.
Teka, suot ko muna.
We have a Boomers Banquet face mask. We're selling it, so if you would like to buy,
Selling.
Wala sa item na yan, mga 10 years from now.
Padala mo na lang. Padala mo na
Sige.
lang sa amin yan.
Sige,
Yes.
Yeah, we will send you Boomers Banquet, and hopefully may kasama ng call letters ng next radio station. Yun. Okay, Teddy. Mag-welding ka na pagkatapos.
Okay. Mag-congratulate tayo sa ating kaibigan si Roy. Lolo na siya ulit, second time. Oo, lolo siya. Nanganak kahapon yung anak niya. Thank you, Roy of Design Makati. Siya rin na nag-design ito. Angat Buhay Mas. Oo. At kahapon nagbigay tayo ng mga samples sa OBP. Thank you guys. Casey. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Bob Novales.
Bye.
And here we go. Thank you very much, mga disc jokers, legends all. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Thanks for being with us today and hoping makita namin kayo uli in future episodes and elsewhere.
Radio station.
O in a radio station too. Yun. Mga kaibigan, thank you for joining us dun sa aming tete-a-tete with the jokers. And keep safe, everyone. Maraming salamat. And follow this show, all the other shows that we have, gaining momentum, Georgia, sa YouTube at saka sa Spotify, the audio version. Yung pang nagda-drive. Thank you.
And of course, I also have a podcast, a weekly podcast called The Masterclass. On Thursday, we dropped another episode which involves things that you desire. No? So it's ongoing. It's called The Masterclass with George Boone. Check it out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And I want to thank Seria, of course, in Sukat, Parañaque. And of course, yung Roy Ordiales, the famous Roy Ordiales of Design Makati. Till next week, we've got a lot of surprises in the upcoming episodes, so don't you dare miss it. And of course, tell your friends all about the Boomers Banquet. Thank you. Good night. God bless. Ad Maiorem Dei Gloriam.